Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Pye, president of Viridis Graduate Institute. Happy to have you with us today in another one of our video series that you can find on YouTube at Viridis Graduate Institute, or you can find on our website, viridis.edu, under our FAQ sections. Our video series is really working to answer questions that prospective students or concerned citizens have sent us asking us about our programs. And our focus today is on our doctoral program offerings. And a Doctor of Arts here at Viridis Graduate Institute are accredited programs. We're a distance education provider, so all of our programs are held live on Zoom. And it makes for a very interesting, enlivened classroom because we have students from around the world that can join us in that sense. So we are very happy to offer these kinds of programs that bring in people from around the world that perhaps would not be possible on campus. So the Doctor of Arts, this is a terminal degree, just like a PhD, a Doctor of Education, a Doctor of Judicial Law, a medical doctor. These are the highest terminal degrees that you can obtain. So a Doctor of Arts, though, I want to say something else about that because I find it to be a very rich degree. And what I mean by that, when we think about what it means to live on a damaged planet, there is an art to our living with a planet that we have pretty much harmed in with a lot of our narratives, behaviors, and practices. What does that mean to live with a damaged planet? And in a sense, there is an art to living. There is an art to a way of being that perhaps we haven't considered before. Perhaps we've considered ourselves as exceptional humans or superior humans that can just walk across the planet with hobnail boots. That's no longer possible in a fast changing climate, nor is it possible in a very interconnected world where everything we say and do matters instantly. It has always mattered to the planet. The planet is very responsive and very clued in to, in a sense, to all of its organisms, behaviors, and practices. It responds to what we all do, in other words. And of course, a changed climate is a perfect example of that. So a Doctor of Arts becomes an extraordinarily applicable, on-the-ground degree that is applied immediately. And our students or our graduates have all applied their degrees immediately, either in their existing professions or in new enterprises that they've started. So the Doctor of Arts then is a way of looking at both ecological processes and those same ecological processes that work psychologically. And we've talked about that in our What is Ecopsychology video that you can watch. But just briefly, we're looking at the same planetary processes that work ecologically: energy, diversity, decay and renewal, change, relationship, also work psychologically. So our focus becomes, in our doctoral and master's programs, how to participate in those differently. And to do that, we have to understand the narratives that underpin our practices and our behaviors. So our focus at Viridis Graduate Institute is narratives, understanding and learning how to detect narratives and what those narratives might be suggesting or communicating, how to completely reconfigure those narratives so that we change the behavior and thus change the practices, detrimental practices, right? So in the Doctor of Arts program, we have two offerings. First of all, our Master of Arts program, we offer a Master of Arts in Social Sciences with the emphasis in ecological psychology and environmental humanities. And master students can easily matriculate into that doctoral program. The Doctor of Arts has two tracks that students can choose from: the Doctor of Arts in Ecological Psychology and Environmental Humanities, or they can choose, if they so want to focus on climate issues, the Doctor of Arts in Ecological Psychology and Environmental Humanities with a specialization in climate response and resiliency. Now, we're very excited about this particular offering because if you think about where we are now, there's probably none of us, even those of you watching, we probably all have experienced a changing climate effect directly or indirectly in one way or another. So climate is not something out there external that does something to us. We are participants in those processes, and understanding how we are participants in those processes makes a huge difference in how we learn how to work with them. The other thing is that climate is a huge issue, and we feel that perhaps it's so big, it feels overwhelming. And overwhelming is an interesting word, suggesting in the etymology of that word, the resistance. And perhaps we resist doing anything about climate because we don't know what to do. We feel overwhelmed. We feel helpless or hopeless or anxious or even grief about losing a particular habitat or environment or ecosystem that was special to us or that we just loved being in, and then it's gone. Or particular animals that meant something to us in our lives, and now they've gone extinct. So these are all interconnected issues when we think about who and what we are with a shared planet. And the Doctor of Arts degrees really help us learn how to work with these interrelated problems. All of our communal and global issues, no matter what they are, stem from human narratives, meaning they come from our psychology. So the doctoral programs then focus on how we understand narratives and how we change those narratives so that we can change those practices. The specialization really focuses on climate issues, communication, working with groups, working with communities, organizations, institutions, say, for example, in corporate responsibility, corporate culture, corporate accountability, those kinds of things, and learning how to communicate ecological literacy in using good psychological capacities and capabilities in your dealing with maybe conflictual situations when it comes to the issue of climate. And if you think about, scientists have for a long time tried to communicate climate issues and climate processes, but not everyone can understand what a graph means or really care to get involved in the very complex chemical interactions that produce a changing climate. Now, the planet has always changed its climate. It will continue to always change its climate. That's what makes it responsive and has agency. It has agency to respond to its organisms and all of what we do. But we humans in our narratives and in our practices from those narratives are drastically, rapidly changing climate processes and systems. So there's an accountability there. There's a corporate accountability, organizational accountability, communal accountability, and each of us have an accountability to the planet that we live with. And so these programs are trying to get at, okay, how do we change the narratives underpinning destructive behaviors and practices? And that's our focus here at Viridis. If you have questions or would like to read more, you can certainly go to our website at viridis.edu. You can email us with direct questions at viridis@viridis.edu. And you can follow us on our website. We'll post these videos on our FAQ section or on our YouTube channel under Viridis Graduate Institute. But important programs in Doctor of Arts in Ecological Psychology and Environmental Humanities, and those with a specialization in climate response and resilience, learning how to be resilient in the face of a fast changing climate. We hope you join us. Thanks for listening. Let us know if you have any questions.